guys, so I've been talking for about 5 minutes now and realized that I was not recording, so let's try that again. So I was on the phone with AEM this afternoon. The ECU that we have, I thought was a 10-951, which would be the part number. I thought that would stand for a Porsche 951, but that's just a coincidence. It's actually a 1900U, which is their universal. This is a lot like the Infinity would be now. It's very old technology, but it still works, gets the job done for what we need. What I did after talking with AEM was I went through and I created an Excel spreadsheet of the pinouts that we will have. Highlighted is what I will be using. Below is all the pins and all the drives, all the inputs, outputs, and then below this is going to be the ignition module, how we're going to use the ignition side of the setup. So the car before, or how it currently sits, is a distributor driven ignition system. So it has a coil and then a distributor. We'll be converting to a coil-on plug setup using the twin fire ignition module 4-channel coil drive. So we're going to be utilizing the ECU with the ignition module feeding the coils. So that being said, the setup for the cam sensor on this car is a lot different than what you're typically used to with like a 60-2 tooth cam sensor. What we're going to be using in this is an adapter. I can't remember the name of the company, but they do make an adapter. So this is the old distributor for the car. This is the old coil. So what we're going to be doing with the AEM wiring, I believe this is AEM harness. I'm not too sure about the harness, but it's a sweet harness. Everything's very easy. They currently have the drive set up for the ignition, but we need the actual coils for this. So what we'll be doing is running the coils like normal. This is going to be the injector, so we're going to clean all this up. It's going to look very nice when we're done. This is all the positive battery side, negative battery side. We have right here, we've broken out all the sensors that we need so far. So this is going to be our AFR sensor, fan 1, fan 2, fuel pump. This is all of our sensors as far as our ECT. This is ECT right here. This is the IAT, or better known as the AIT. This is the, what is this? Map sensor. We're going to be using a 3-bar GM map sensor. And this is our vehicle speed sensor. This is our crank sensor. This will be hooked up to the adapter that we're going to be getting. And this will be the cam sensor. So this is the crank sensor that'll be hooked up to the back of the engine where the crank sensor normally goes. The vehicle speed sensor will be as well. Crank sensor will be hooked up to here with an adapter plate once we're done. These are sensors that I pulled out. So this is the stepper motor. We will not be using that. AFR2, if you're running dual wideband, won't be using that. And this is our idle motor, so won't be using that either. So these are the sensors that will be gone as far as the wiring to clean it up a little bit. We have the intake manifold taken off again, so right now it's just chilling there. This is not its full effect. We definitely don't want to be running 2, 3 couplers. That's just basically for mock-up sidewise. We have the turbo in, all the lines ran, all timing set, good to go. We just have these sensors. So back here you can see they've been cut, but this is the stock crank sensor, stock speed sensor for the car. So we're going to be wiring the new wiring into this. Back here where the wiring is actually sitting, this is where all the magic happens. So we have the ECU and the ignition module pulled out, all the wires cleaned up. So this is our input output expansion wiring, which the white wiring is going to be our NOx sensor. So we will have a NOx sensor on this, so we need to run this wire as well. This is more ignition. So this right here is the injector wiring if you're running like a V8. This is, additional wiring that we're not going to need, so we're going to clean it up, tuck it out. This is the ignition wiring for the module. It's going to wire from the AEM V1 to the ignition control module, so that's going to be done as well. Trying to get all the wires kind of separated to where I know where everything's going. These I believe are also for the fuel side, and then This is the side, low side drivers. So everything's spread out so far. We do have a factory harness that we're going to need to use to get a few more sensors off of. Like I said, we're not going to be running a map sensor. We're going to be running a GM map sensor, so the connector's not going to work there. We already have our injector drives. These are the drives for the speed sensor, crank sensor, and then some of the body harness connections. So we basically are going to use this as our reference for the main wiring harness. We're going to be tackling that as soon as we get the adapter. So that's about it, guys. Quick update on what we got going on. Hopefully we'll have this thing by next week running. Super excited about that. So everything mechanically should be good to go. We have to get the wiring on, and then once that is the fun stuff. We have an aftermarket exhaust for the car that we'll be installing. So that's about it, guys. Just a quick update. I wanted to give you a heads up on what we got going. We do have big news coming up at the end of this year. We can't share just yet, but we're very thin on cars here at the shop. This thing right here will be a fun project, one of the last projects we have here at the shop. So stay tuned for more. Hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving, guys. Thanks for commenting, for subscribing, following the channel. We do have over 500 subscribers, which is crazy because we were just at, I think, 200 like 3-4 weeks ago. So really enjoy the support, guys. Really appreciate it. Stay tuned for more. Peace.